Alright, quick update on KDA. So, Kadena and a bunch of other altcoins in the past day, really the past 12 hours or so, some of these cryptos have been moving up to higher valuations. A lot of people have been getting out of bed, and we are starting to see that the markets are starting to trickle back down at this moment in time. If we look at the altcoin market cap, you can really see in the macro time frame, once again looking at total 2, this is the entirety of the crypto market minus Bitcoin. All we did is temporarily break below a micro 786. We back tested the 200 week, had a slight bounce, and now it seems like we are once again initiating that momentum shift back down to the downside. If we switch over to the Heikenashis and head over to the weekly, you can see it's been a pretty straight landslide, and we should probably expect that within the next week or so the trend will continue to be our friend and we will start to roll down in terms of the altcoin market. This is my belief in anyway. The total crypto market cap as well looks very shaky, holding the 200-day. So in my opinion, like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, with with Kadena, it's been very, very simple just looking at this, zooming out and recognizing the trend is perfectly defined by the 4-hourly EMA ribbons. And until we have a successful flip of them, a back test and a push to the upside, then we are bearish. Now, I've been covering Kadena since just around 650, and I've kept the same energy the entire way through, and I have been telling you time after time after time again, because, you know, once again, I do make quite frequent updates on this on my YouTube, and, you know, over here, people were getting out of bed for this move back to the upside. Over here, people were getting out of bed for this move back up to the upside. And at this moment in time, people are getting out of bed for this move to the upside. And you notice a trend every time people start getting out of bed, every time the retail traders start celebrating, you know, a 10-20% pump after a 90% drop to the upside. Or 90% drop to the downside. Everyone seems to get really excited, but, you know, once again, we're snapping back to reality. We are capitulating at this moment in time below the 4-hourly EMA ribbons. You can also see in terms of our momentum indicators, we keep on pushing up, we keep on having these little bunny hills, and what I mean by these bunny hills is we have temporary fake outs over on the 4-hourly squeeze bomb, and you can see these perfectly correlate. If I find the perfect place to draw this on, you can see they perfectly correlate to these retests and rounded tops over on the EMA ribbons. And yes, you can see, you know, in this occasion, this occasion, this occasion, this occasion here, oops. And also what we're seeing right now, every time we've done this, we have very temporarily just poked our head above the upside by nothing crazy, but, you know, we come up above it, we come back down for the back test, and this is when everything goes sour and we start to fail. I would also like to highlight, there is no volume backing up this trend whatsoever. We saw a tiny amount of volume stepping in down here. 39,000 Kadena bought on Bittrex. Apart from that, it's been relatively stagnant the entire way through. Now, we also talked about in the last video, this left shoulder, head, shoulder, breakdown target coming all the way down to $1.32, and I still do think that's coming into fruition. What you can see is that we were on an uptrending level of support. We formed a bearish technical analysis pattern with a price target down here at 130, and we broke down. We came back up, we back tested previous support and confirmed it as resistance, and we're now moving down in the direction of the target for this technical analysis pattern. So I think it's really black and white what we are seeing right now. I really wouldn't be getting out of bed for altcoins while the altcoin market cap is looking very, very shaky. Predominantly, most of the altcoins haven't been performing well. Some of the others have within the top 125, excluding some of the blue chips like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But nonetheless, you can see others is retesting the 786 fib. Total 2 is getting ready to break below our micro 786 and then come down and break below the macro 786. And the total crypto market cap is really just holding on that last line at the 786 fib. So by no means do I think we're bullish. I do think we've got one last final capitulation to the downside. And I don't say this to say that Kadena is a shitcoin, or I'm not saying that it's going to go down forever. I'm simply saying at this moment in time, we need to look at the trend. We need to recognize the trend has been bearish since 650. If you go back to my videos at 650, you'll see that I've kept the same energy, nothing's changed. We're once again coming into these EMA ribbons, moving averages, and we're getting battered down, making bearish pattern after bearish pattern after bearish pattern. After we do capitulate to the downside, 142 is not where the momentum is going to start to subside, because we also have a plethora of price targets down here from a giant M pattern, which is this price target down here, which I've marked with this orange horizontal ray. this would mark a drop down to $1.18. And the next level, the level that I've been calling for a very, very long time now, I can't remember the exact date I started talking about this, but once again, if you are a seasoned veteran to my channel, then you will know that I have been talking about this range between $1.90 and 79¢. We've got major support down here from previous trends, you know, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, 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 support. We've got a 1.618 down here at 81¢, just above the target of 79¢. We've got a breakdown target from this massive asymmetrical triangle coming right down to 91¢. You can see this massive target here was the asymmetrical triangle right here at $1.17. We also have this massive M pattern. So the highest level of confluence, and also need I say the 3.618 Fibonacci round about 90¢. So we've got a ton of reasons why we should probably be pushing down to these lower levels, at least in my opinion, once again. So it seems pretty black and white what we are seeing on Kadena right now. I would be estimating, and by the way, this is my conservative target, I would be estimating that $1 is once again still on the table. It would represent a 39.55% drop. And you can see, you know, this was our prediction from quite a while ago, and it is just slowly panning out as we do generally trickle in a downside trajectory over time. I think we're waiting for the stock market opening tomorrow. At this moment in time, Bitcoin's also getting rejected. Bitcoin's starting to roll down. The Bitcoin dominance has been taking a break. But in my opinion, once this starts to move back to the upside, and bear in mind it's still sitting in a major area of support right now, if this starts to move back to the upside and Bitcoin starts moving down, what you're going to witness is a massive trickle to the downside in the altcoin market. First of all, it's going to be, you know, drip, and then there's going to be a flood of sellers looking to exit their altcoins as Bitcoin capitulates below its previous all-time high at 19,800. So, you know, once again, I know a lot of people potentially might just want to watch a KDA video and have me say, this is the chart, this is the price target. But on my channel, I like to look at how Bitcoin will affect KDA. I like to look at how the altcoin market cap will affect KDA. I like to, you know, mention, you know, the dollar. The dollar is bullish. The stock market is bearish. These are all indicators that are going to affect the Bitcoin market, and thus they're going to affect the altcoin market. So subsequently, markets are not looking good as a whole. I would have to definitely stick with my guns like I have been for at least the past, it's been about 4 to 6 weeks. I imagine it's been around about 4 to 6 weeks I've been calling for $1. And once again, I'm here to say nothing has changed. We are currently getting that confirmation as we do slip below the 13 EMA, as we do slip below the 4-hourly EMAs. If we do have a slight bounce back to the upside in about 12 hours, and we do not manage to push above approximately $1.67, then you could definitely see this being an absolute textbook rejection, pushing us back to the downside. So that is all I've got for KDA. I would also like to highlight KDA BTC first of all. If you're new to the channel, warm welcome. You might be wondering, you know, if you're new to the channel, where this is drawn from. If we hop over to the daily time frame, you can see it's the candle body close. We've just got this on the weekly to make it super easy for you to see. But what have we done? We've had a massive trend, so this is how Kadena is performing against Bitcoin. We did our blow off top. We came down to the 618. We came up, got rejected from the 236. We broke down, got rejected from the 382, broke down, got rejected from the 0.5, broke down, got rejected from the 618, and like clockwork, we are currently in a massive breakdown, back testing the 786 before, in my opinion, we get ready for that last major capitulation down to the downside. And I think this could represent about a 66% drop on Kadena against Bitcoin, meaning that if Bitcoin goes down, you know, 10% or so, maybe Kadena could come down, you know, 70% or something like that. Now, this doesn't necessarily 100% correlate to my price targets, because, you know, I've been calling for, you know, a 40% drop, a 45% drop, and subsequently this 52% drop. So I would like to very much highlight, if Bitcoin starts moving to the downside, and I do believe it will very soon, the next major level of support for Kadena is really not down to here on the BTC pair, and this could literally represent a minimum of an 89% drop against Bitcoin. If you think that's too bearish, bear in mind, we have been down here before. This would only represent another 12% move back to the downside from its previous low against Bitcoin. So be super cautious. You know, once again, I'm not a hater for Kadena. I actually do like the project. I do like the long-term fundamentals. I do like the blockchain. If you read the white paper, it is a very interesting project. Nonetheless, looking at this objectively, the bottom is not in. We are going to go lower, in my humble opinion. So that's all I've got for you today. I do look forward to Kadena going down to sub $1. I would also very much like to emphasize, while we would all hope that this would bottom at $1 between 79 cents, while that does seem very bearish, if you were like me and you were here in the 2018 bear market, you know that some of the most bearish predictions for the altcoins got hit, and then we went down another 50%. Am I saying Kadena is going to go, you know, much lower than 80 cents? I'm not, but I am saying that just because my lowest price target at this moment in time is 80 cents does not mean that we can't slide below 80 cents. But with that being said, at this moment in time, I'd really like to focus on $1. So let's come down lower to this price target. We will reevaluate the markets in the next video and see what is likely to pan out. That's all I've got for you today. Hope you enjoyed today's content and found some value in this video. As always, Cowboy out. Peace.